Here is a Lakewood fan. This is a Lakewood model 600. It doesn't say 600A or 1600DX. I would consider this part of the A series. Maybe that's the A. I do have a particular dislike for the Lakewood oscillating desk and table fans. I think they were largely inferior to the Lasko Galaxy offerings for a variety of reasons. But they do look kind of cool. It's the performance and the build quality that I don't like. I have some nostalgia to some of them. This is one of them. I remember sometime back in middle school, I can't quite recall what grade it was, but I remember seeing one of these in a chemistry classroom. It was on the instructor's desk. You know, it was like a whole elaborate thing where there was a sink and a bunch of I think they were called Bunsen burners and so forth. And I recall that the blade was like, I think it had fallen off the shaft because it was sitting all convoluted inside the fan. And it was like that for an extended period of time. I never saw the thing got thrown out. Every time I saw it, it was always like that. I'm guessing it was just a situation where the unit probably fell or something happened that caused the blade to come off, and is so infrequently used that nobody had noticed. I'm sure that fan is long gone by now, unfortunately. The cord, well, someone did this, which I can't stand, because now the cord thinks it's on a telephone and has a memory to it. This should never be done to cords. I don't know why people think that's a good idea. It's a very terrible idea and should never be done. Sometimes, depending on storage condition, it can even make marks on plastic. The plug is polarized. I don't know how recently these were made. I know the DX ones, I think, were from the late 90s. So these potentially could have run into the 90s. It's got to be somewhat recent to have this fused plug. This looks like a 90s style plug to me. I don't think it's much older than that. It's got the basic C-frame shaded pole motor in here. And these are very poorly built. I think these A series were just atrocious. They used cheesy shaded pole motors, even the larger ones did. They're noisy, they draw a ridiculous amount of power. The plastic is exceptionally flimsy and just ugh. Surprisingly, this one is in fairly good shape though. There's only a couple spots that are broken. This is busted up there, but otherwise it's not too bad. Just the whole thing is just super flimsy. The only thing I'll give these is that they did have good airflow through the motor. This is all open on the back. It's all open on the front, as we saw. That's a big improvement over the way that Holmes tends to design things. Not that Holmes is a model designer by any means, but it is a little better than that. The blade is pitched pretty shallow. I can't imagine this is going to work very well. It's a 2-speed. Switch works okay. No handle. Here the bearings are probably kind of dry. And at least the 1200A has a fancy like glitter backed logo. Although this has the fancy writing, the L and W are the fancy letters. It's just a bland brown sticker with nothing particularly notable about it. And the base logo is as bland as it gets. Doesn't even have any fancy writing. Alright, well, let's plug it in and see how bad it is. testing at 119.2 the volts. Here's the slower speed. It has somewhat of an interesting startup sounds. Oh, it's awful. It hardly moves any air. Yeah, it's kind of what I expected. This is like Holmes level airflow. It's quieter than Holmes, I'll give it that much, but the performance is atrocious. He's barely moving any air, just 3 feet back from it. It's not the worst I've tested. Some Holmes are worse than this, but this is pretty lousy. This is definitely below average. Although it's quiet, I'll give it that much. And I assume that if the motor was adequately lubricated, that bearing rattle would not be present, making it even a little bit quieter. It's pretty badly out of balance. It's got a lot of vibration to it. The power information is 0.15 to amps, 11 to watts, and the power factor of 0.6. The high. Wow, that's really vibrating, something awful. It's still not overly loud, other than that rattle, which is not supposed to be there. But the performance is really disappointing. It's below average right up front, you know, compared to other 6-inch fans. And it just doesn't carry. We just go back a couple feet here. There's barely anything. Oh, gusts here and there, but not much. Let's see, can I feel it across the room? Not really. Very, very faintly, about up to maybe 5 to 6 feet away, but that's it. Now granted, these are intended to be used close up, so, you know, would this suffice if it was sitting on a desk a couple feet away from you? Yeah, it would, but it's not great. And I would assume too that a Lakewood offering was not the cheapest at the time. I would expect that there are other other like store brands that would have made a much cheaper fan at the time. So for likely not having the lowest price tag, this is definitely disappointing. Oh, on high, the power information is 0.32 the amps, which is just a little bit less than the 0.4 it claims. And you know, that's outrageous because you can run a 12-inch Galaxy oscillator, which pulls about the same current with less noise and more air, 20 to watts, and the power factor is 0.54, which is pretty bad even for a shaded pole. There is a little bit of dust on the leading edges of the blades. Nothing crazy, but sometimes that does impact the performance, even when it's just a little bit amount like that. So we'll clean and service this, and we'll give it the benefit of the doubt and try again. But I just don't really have high hopes for this thing, even in good working order. But of course, since I have this thing with pairs and matching models and so forth, I'll now probably try to find the 16-inch version because I have the 12, and now I have the 6. So why not complete the triage of junky fans and get the 16 as well?